man. So look, we're back with another episode of the Coaches Corner, man. We got a special guest on here again. A guy that I got to know a little bit, man. A guy that I actually trained for a little bit. Now he's doing big things on the coaching side of the equation, man. I want to introduce Devontae Cross. I appreciate you coming on, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us your backstory. Hell, tell us how we met, man. All that good stuff, man. What do we need to know about you?
Man, from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Interesting journey, right, to college. So I was a quarterback my whole career in high school. Middle school, high school was quarterback. I went to the University of Virginia as a quarterback. Ended up playing quarterback, receiver, DB there. I started 3 years on defense, corner, safety, nickel. Didn't really matter. Just plug and play guy. Had a good career over there, professionally. I got hurt my senior year in college. So, that really did put a damper on my professional career. Out of college, signed as an undrafted free agent to the Commanders. And then after that, I signed to the Green Bay Packers, brief career, really, probably like a year and a half total professionally. Then after Green Bay, I went on to sign with the USFL and CFL. But my career got cut short due to medicals, man. I couldn't pass a physical due to a heart condition, everything after the DeMar Hamlin situation, organizations, they didn't want to take the risk with any type of heart issues, medical problems. So they were just like, the risk's too high right now, especially after everything that happened. So, that forced my hand to having to put the pads down. But I was fortunate to build a relationship with my college staff where, after I finished playing, they gave my college defensive coordinator and my DB coach, he gave me the opportunity to come to Vanderbilt and be able to start my coaching career there, which is, hey, man, not too many better places in the SEC to start off. So, I'm appreciative.
And so, man, now how'd you get to New Mexico, man? Because I know that you got your new stop at New Mexico. So how did that transition work?
So my college head coach, Bronco Minical, he got hired here. So I was with Nick Howe, who was my defensive coordinator at the University of Virginia and the DB's coach. He was at Vanderbilt for 2 years. And then when Minical got hired, he got the call and he said, hey, you coming with me? And I said, come on now. I'm going back.
I love it, man. So what they got you coaching over there, man?
Oh, so over here, nickels.
Okay.
Yeah, really safeties, but like more like specifically nickels. So that's, my wheelhouse anyway. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, man, it's been fun. It's a little different, FBS, non-power 5, group of 5 schools. So, other side of the country too. So a little different, different athletes, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge worth taking. You know what I'm saying? Nothing worth doing is easy. So I'm ready to rock and roll.
Man, I love it. So talk about the transition, right? So we all do it, man. I went through it. You just recently went through it. So you probably got more, what's the word? You got more evidence. You got more tactical experience or newfound experience than I do. It's been about a decade since I played, right? But that transition from player to not being a player, but most importantly, like a player to a coach now. How was that transition? How did you go about it? How did you handle the disappointment? How did you just go about those things?
It hurt, man.
Going from, I don't feel it. Yeah.
It hurt. Like, I really believed I had the ability to play to my late 20s, early 30s, and to be able to sit in there in a training room and have the doctor, 2 different organizations sit you down and tell you, hey, we don't want to take on this risk. It's not in our best interest as an organization. Like, it hurts, man. It takes a lot out you because then it's out of your hands. Like, it's not something I can control. So it really hurts. So I ended up going back home. And, man, it was a rough 2 to 3 months. Just like, dang, like I worked my whole life to get to this space, to this opportunity. And now it's gone. So, it took me a little bit, at first, feeling, just a disappointment, just like feeling like there's nothing I can do. But at the same time, I'm just grateful that I took school serious enough where I'm at the point where, like, when I left the University of Virginia, I had my bachelor's and I had my master's. So I was in a position to leverage that. So, like, honestly, during that time period, I was a little messed up, man. It was a little rough. But at the same time, I was just thankful that I really took school serious and did not put all my eggs in the football basket, because that's really what helped me leverage, myself to get to Vanderbilt, to get to New Mexico, because I have those credentials behind me.
Right.
So really, I was just thankful that at an earlier point in my life, I put it into work that helped me later in my life. But at the same time, it was so hard, man. Like, you really see yourself like, man, at 28, 29, I'm going to settle it out, little couple dollars in the bank.
Yeah.
That did not work out.
Man, I get it. Like, shoot, we talked back when I was training you, man. You know kind of what it is. But, no, that transition is hard. People don't understand, man. When you put your whole life into it, when that's been your dream, and all of a sudden somebody telling you, hey, man, you can't play no more. I know exactly what you're saying. So, man, now as we transition, we talked about the transition. You're in the coaching game. So, all right. So this is recent for you. This is a good question, man, and I want to get your perspective on it. Now, you were just recently a player. Now you're a coach. So now you've seen it on both sides of the spectrum. Now that you're coaching, man, what is the transition like? What do you see that's different between coaching and playing now? What's your expectation of players? What do you look for in players? Give me that breakdown now.
So to be honest with you, the biggest transition, like, I struggle with, especially last year, my first year at Vanderbilt, is the fact that I'm no longer a player. The way you you obviously have to carry yourself professionally as a player, but at the same time, as a player, you get some leniencies, like the way you talk to people, the way you just go about your day. Now as a coach, like, you got to be on your P's and Q's. You can't just talk to kids any type of way. Like, you can't do that. Kids, they sensitive. Their parents. Like, you got to be, you got to be. There's like professional, then there's like super professional, and like, that's one thing. That's a bridge I had to cross. On the field, players like to chirp, right? Even as a player, you chirp at the coach a little bit. You can't just now you can't just retaliate. You can't just chirp back. Now you got to handle it professionally. Like, you can't engage, essentially. You just got to let it slide. That was like the biggest thing for me, because somebody, like, as a player, somebody chirping, your first instinct, I'm a chirp back. But now as a coach, it's just like, you know what? It's not even my space no more. Let them have it.
Right.
And then, and then so now it's just like, I think for me, it's now like seeing like the big picture of like everything now. Like, I'm no longer just focused on like my job, my position. Now it's like, I coach nickels, but then like the secondary as a whole, the defense as a whole, then like complementary football, like the offense, special teams, like, you really start to like elevate just your thinking to outside of what's my job, what do I have to do to have a good game today, to what's our job, what's our goal, how are we going to get all three phases to work together to have a successful Saturday. So I think that's like the biggest transition. And then, just like, there's like a different feeling as a coach too, like time, man. Like, it feels like there's not enough time, like, before season starts, or like weekly planning. Like, as a player, you're just going through the practices. All right, Tuesdays is full pass, Wednesdays uppers. But as a coach, it's like, man, like, we gotta, we gotta get to it, man. There's a lot to go over this week.
Not enough time in the day, not enough schemes. Like, did I do this? Did I cover that? I know the feeling. All right, so let me ask you this. Now we're coaching, so that means you're evaluating talent. All right. Now this one is for my players. This one is for my parents, man. Now I need you to be real. I need you to be raw. Don't give me no cookie cutter answer. You know how we work. You know how we operate. So pretend that you're talking to me as a parent. What are you looking for in players first and foremost? What type of player? And we know all about the physical. You got to have the size, stature. You got to have the ability. We get all that. But when we talk about the mental makeup too, like, what are you looking for in that guy? What makes you be like, all right, he's worth having us on the team. We need to offer this kid. What is it?
Like, over here in New Mexico, right, you got to be desert worthy. Like, that's like our frame. Desert worthy, which means, do you love football? Are you physical? Things like that. And then also, when you're looking for a player, like, how everybody got their huddle film out. So, like, you watch a huddle, what you're looking for, like, obviously we ain't watching it if the size, metrics, and everything don't match up. But now, like, on the film, like, are you slowing down before a contact? Are you, technical? Can you see like a foundation of like technical work there? When you're watching like DBs, because that's what I mostly watch. Like when they're getting in and out of their breaks, are they, raising up? Are they high in their pedals? Is there like a burst out when they break? Like, is there pop? Is there spring to them? So that's like really like, in the first like couple clips, you can tell like, oh, like you're either going to get an ooh or not so much. And then at the end of the day, like, are you desert worthy? Like, do you love football? And then can you help us win the Mountain West? Like, our thing here is better than, not equal to. Because what's the point of bringing in a guy that we already have? We're looking for something better to improve, so we're constantly improving. So you got to be better than the guys we already have. Otherwise, what's the point? I already got that guy. So that's really like what it boils down to.
That's good, dog. That's good. And that's what I'm trying to get these kids to understand, man. Like, look, well, kids, but most importantly, parents. I'm like, y'all got to understand that they're evaluating people across the country. Like, just because you're good in your high school, you're good in your region, you're good in your state, bro. Do you compare to that cat in Arizona, Oklahoma, California, Florida? That's what everybody's looking for. I like that desert worthy, though. That's good, man. Now, when we talk about like I like what you said about the film, and this is one of the things that I talk to about our guys, right? I'm like, look, the film, you got to be able to capture them. But I had one of the coaches that I interviewed, my man Geddes at Syracuse, tell me how they use your football ineptitude. They want to see that in the first couple minutes of your huddle film too, because they grade based on, okay, well, how football smart is he if he's putting up clips of him blocking that receiver, for example? Does that matter in the recruiting process? Is that something that you guys pay attention to?
So one thing here, like the more you can do, the more you can do. Like we watch it, and if you can play quarterback, receiver, DB, and then like if you're
repeat that one more time. Repeat that one more time for me. Say that one more time. I need to hear that.
The more you can do, man. That's Bill Belichick right there.
Yep.
And that's real. Man. Like we looking at all of it. Like if you're playing receiver, running back, okay, he an athlete. Then like basketball too. Like you basketball, you can hoop. Like okay, and then track. Like obviously the times, man, all that stands out. The more you can do, the more you can do, man. That really helps you because like, like oh my God, this guy runs a 10-5. You know what I'm saying? He a point guard. He got spring to him. Like watch his basketball huddle. Oh man, he out there dunking and everything. Like that goes a long way because it just shows explosiveness. It shows like he has potential to really be good at this position. So like yeah, man, that's what it comes down to. And then like when it comes to huddle, put your best clips first, man. Like don't cool plays are good, but like put your best clips from like a technical standpoint. Like it might not be an interception. It might not be a big play, but if you're out there having great coverage, your break was crispy, it was clean, put that up there. That's what we're looking for. That's all good.
Look, man, look, I swear to you, I preach that to my kids all the time because, hey, man, coach, I'm a receiver. No, you whatever I need you to be. The more you can do, the harder it is for me to take you off the field. What do y'all not understand about that? And it makes you more valuable to the coaches. So I'm glad that you verified that, dog. Like, really, can we dive into it? Because this is more so for the kid, but also the parent. Like, how valuable is it playing multiple positions, man? Like, how much is that do you take into the evaluation process, the multiple position factor?
I mean, you got to think, man, it's about value. At the end of the day, it's about value. What's your value? Like, if you can play corner, okay, that's good value. But if you play corner, nickel, safety, that's increased value. So now there's a place for you, not only at corner, there's a place at nickel. You're getting on the plane. Why? Because we need you. You can play so many different roles. Your value is extremely high, and you're one person. So when it comes to that, like, always, like, kids, increase your value. Because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Like, low value is low value. There's only so much you can do with it. Oh, he can play coach is receiver. That's good. But, like, if he can play receiver and he can block, like, at tight end, and he can get in the backfield, catch up, now we talking. Because now we can move you around. Now our schemes can be different. Now, like, if we want to scheme something up where we want rotating coverage, we have a corner that can play safety, a safety that can play nickel. Our scheme expands because now we're not like, coach, he's only a corner. All he can do is stay outside and stay out there. No, coach, he can play in the box. So, coach, we can move him in. We can put him in a run fit. So it's like, man, increase your value as much as you can. Like, it's going to go a long way. You're going to get on the field.
Man, see that? Thank you. Boy, I might just take that portion of this and just like, here, parent, watch this. All right. But look, man, I love that portion, man, because you know how you get that pushback from the kids. And see, and you kind of privy to a little bit of it, but I started like a high school national team where we play games in the spring.
Yeah.
And I would love to have you out to be able to evaluate some guys. And I got some cats for you now. I got some dudes now. But I did that because one, you know about the transfer portal, which we're about to get into next, and how it's hurting a high school kid. And there has to be a way to bridge this gap between high school and college. All right. And so we play those games in the spring because I invite guys like you out. Be like, look, man, here's a guy that may be a hidden gem. You know what I mean? He has what he needs, but I want to display multiple positions. Hey, man, you're just not a receiver. Play some DB. Hey, man, you're just not a receiver. Play some tight end. That kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So get into the transfer portal, man. How big of a factor is that? Like I've heard from multiple guys that I've talked to, 60-20-20. I've heard 60-20-20. I've heard 70-30. I've heard 80-20. So for New Mexico, what does that look like for y'all when it comes to the transfer portal? How does it affect what parents need to know? What can I tell the parents, or what can you tell the parents about the transfer portal and how important it is, or how it's affecting their recruiting?
So the portal is crazy. Like the portal is absolutely wild, especially just think of conference. So now there's only the Power Four. So the Power Four, and then there's Group of Five, right? For the most part. So Power Four, they're gonna be good regardless, right? They're good. They're why? Because they're the traditional schools. Your Michigans, Ohio States, they always gonna be good. Now you gotta think like the portal for Group of Five, right? As a Group of Five school, any good player you have is gone after that year. He's gone. Like once you develop a guy and he's playing great, you might as well kiss him goodbye, walk him out the door. Like, hey, thank you for your service. Like because a Power Five is just gonna swoop right in and poach him with the way the portal works. So as a Group of Five school, what I realized in my time, it's going to be a revolving door every year. Because every year people are going to leave, and it's so easy to hop in the portal. There's no rules. There's no restrictions. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can equate it to almost like NFL free agency, man. Like every year, after every season, you're a free agent. If somebody call it, and I don't blame the kids at all. Like, I don't care if you're a kid. I don't care if you're a coach. When that price is right, you're going.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
I'm not one of those guys who are like frowning upon the portal. Oh, kids need to save their no, because as a coach, if you get that call and the price is right, you're going. So why would you expect the kids to stay? But it's really crazy. I do feel like kind of bad for like high school kids because it's tougher now. Because every year, especially if I'm a Power Four school, I can get an experienced guy who's already played 3-4 years at the Division I level versus a high school kid. But then again, at the same time, these high school kids, like for Group of Five, they're like diamonds, man. Because now it's like, dude, we can get a high school. Because these Power Fours are passing up on great high school kids because they're just looking for portal players. But as a Group of Five, like now you can go swing a high school kid that you probably would have never even been able to get before the portal. So now you bring them in. They're great. The program's better. And then, if they're really that great, they're going to leave after a year. But, hey, at least you did your thing here for a year and helped everybody out.
Right. It's like it's become more transactional.
A little bit. Like a little bit. But I will say it is harder for high school kids right now because, there's two ways to look at it. Like, do I develop a kid out of high school? Because once he's developed and plays great, he's leaving, especially at a Group of Five school. Or if I'm a big Power Four, I'm Michigan, I'm just going to get the corner that transferred from Auburn last year because he already played 3 years. I got 3 years of SEC film on him. Come on, I can play you. I know what you're going to do versus an 18-year-old kid. Like high school kids are in a tough spot. I honestly don't know how that's going to shake out in terms of like, just like percentages of like how many like high school kids are going to be able to enter into big time programs. Obviously, like, the 5-4 stars, they're going to be fine regardless. But I'm talking like the 3-2 star. Like I was 2 borderline 3-star. It'd probably it'd probably been tough for me to get to Virginia. Because why? Like Virginia now, they're like, hey, I can go get a quarterback out the portal that already played 3-4 years at an FCS level or Group of Five level. So I be honest with you, I don't know how that's necessarily going to work for them. All I know is like as a high school kid, man, stand out, man, do your thing. Like, and they'll find you, man. Like, one thing about it, if you're great, we will find you. Like,
Right.
you
Yep.
won't go unnoticed like forever, because you will get found, because we're not Group of Five is not getting portal guys. We're getting more JUCO high school kids. So like, and there's nothing wrong with Group of Five either. Like, shoot, I was at Vandy last year. We lost to a Group of Five school. Like, that's SEC versus the Mountain West school. We lost. Like, so like, don't frown upon Group of Five because it's not Power Four. Like, dude, football's football, and if you're a good player, we will find you, and then the NFL scouts will find you. Like,
Yeah.
so that's like the only message I really got for high school kids, man. Do your thing and really just strive to perfect your craft. But
I love it, man, because that's the one thing that you want to do, because it's about the development portion. I always tell them it's the skill set. You know what I mean? I'm like, they always come talking about how they're going to get bigger, faster, stronger. But I'm like, dude, your skill set is what they're looking at, because can that translate to the field? They're going to put you in the strength and conditioning program, big dog.
Yeah.
Like, does your skill set match? But, man, I'm glad that you touched on that, because, I get a lot of those questions, man. Like, I have a lineman about 6'7", 340. And for the life of me, he's like, bro, what am I missing? I said, dog, it's just you're dealing with a different world now, man. You know what I mean? Like he's a guy that that he'll be that diamond in the rough. Oh, he nasty too, man. Hey, he's nasty.
6'7", 340.
Those type guys, man. That's the type. That's why I created that national team program. There's got to be a gap that you can bridge, man, where he can be seen. You see what I'm saying? But look, as far as New Mexico, man, I know that we run it up, man. I told you I keep you about 20 minutes. I know you got a lot you got to do.
Nah, you fine, man.
As far as New Mexico, the program, the school, if you could send your message out to people, everybody who may be listening, the parents that might be listening, why is New Mexico a good choice? What separates New Mexico from everybody else? And more importantly, why should they come and play for Coach Cross, man? Why they need to come play for you?
Hey, look, if you're talking about So the head coach's message, right, top to bottom, right, what he believes in is developing young men through the game of football.
Okay.
So it's not – football is important, winning's important, but at the same time, it's about your development as a young man becoming a grown man, right? So what I think New Mexico is great at, especially Coach Mendenhall, because I played for him in college, he's really going to develop your mental. And just like, you're going to realize life by the time you start and by the time you leave, you're going to have a different understanding of life. You're going to have a different understanding of work ethic, because like our big thing is accountability, discipline, and effort. Like, you're going to be accountable for everything you do, which is big, because like accountability is like lacking. Like, it's hard for people to take accountability nowadays, but here accountability is swift and certain. Like, the second you're not upholding your end of the bargain, it's swift and certain. There's no debate. You know exactly what it is. And then discipline to do your job, do the right thing every day. It can become a grind sometimes, but just having the discipline to keep going is something that we instill, and it's something that you can carry for the rest of your life. And just effort, man. Like, at the end of the day, no matter what you do, like, if you want something, you got to go hard, and that's just something we preach like daily, total effort, man, because that's all you got. That's something you can control every day. Every day you wake up, you can control your effort 100%. So I believe that's like the big thing. And then like New Mexico, right? Desert. Like, you think of desert, gritty, dry. Nobody really wants to go to the desert, right? We can build that culture. We can build a culture on that of like, nobody wants to come play New Mexico because we're gritty, man. We're from the desert. We're desert people. We're desert worthy. We love football. We're physical. We're violent. We play the game the right way. Like, we could just build. I can foresee us just building a culture of just like tough, gritty football that is really hard to come here and win. And I truly believe that, and I truly believe that's why you come here, because hey, maybe my chances weren't if I was a JUCO guy, like, this is the only place that gave me an opportunity. If I'm a high school guy, I couldn't get to a Power Four, but they gave me come here and let's build this gritty culture. Let's build this desert-worthy culture where people do not want to come here. They don't want to play here, and it's hard to make it out. The desert hard to survive, baby. You got to be tough to come here, and it's going to be tough to come here and win.
Love it, man. Love it. Well, shoot, man, I appreciate the time. Where can people follow you? Where can they hit you up at? What's all the good stuff? What's all the info?
Man, so best is Twitter, obviously. I just got my Twitter at Cross Devontae. I got like 10 followers. I just made it. I got off Twitter for a couple of years, man. Twitter crazy. So I had to get off it for a couple of years, but now I'm back on it. That's a great place. Obviously great to always follow, New Mexico football, Instagram, Twitter, whatever social media, they got all those. Instagram's just my name again, Devontae Cross, great place. Yeah, man. Like you said, you got some guys, man. We'll love to check them out. You can never stop evaluating talent, man. That happens year round.
Yes, man. Well, I love it. Well, shoot, man, I appreciate you. That's another episode of the Coaches Corner, man. Make sure you guys pay attention, but make sure you guys understand what he was telling you. We do this in order for you to understand what the recruiting world is like, what colleges are looking for, most importantly, how you can elevate yourself. All right? Hey, man, appreciate it. And we'll see you later.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.